Hey everyone, and welcome to another one. Again, we're doing 20 videos in 30 days, a lot of time, a lot of effort. If you wouldn't mind hitting subscribe, post notifications, hit a like, put a comment down. It really helps. We've grown a lot recently the last couple days, and I appreciate everyone who's been here. Alright, let's get started. Today's video is about the movie She's the Man. When I was younger, I saw this movie and absolutely loved this movie. I was dying hysterically. This is one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. This was the era that when the movie was popular, you could see it everywhere. It was on pop culture, internet. There was no way to avoid a movie when it was aired. This was the era of movies, when Mean Girls came out, and everyone non-stop talked about Mean Girls for forever. To this day, to talk about Mean Girls. But this movie had it felt different. It felt like when it came, it just disappeared, just the same way it came. It just disappeared, and no one ever talked about it again. And I was wondered why. Even in that same year, John Tucker Must Die came out that same year, and I thought John Tucker Must Die left a bigger imprint on society than She's the Man. I was but this movie was so good though. Now I'm starting to think that maybe it's me. Maybe I'm having nostalgic eyes, because another movie I loved when I was really young was Street Fighter. And Street Fighter is terrible. I rewatched it and it's one of the most worst movies I've ever seen. So maybe it's me and the movie wasn't as good as I thought it was. So I'm gonna rewatch it and see if it's still as funny as I thought it was. Let's find out if this movie still holds the test of time. Alright, let's get started. We are introduced to Viola, who's played by Amanda Bynes. The movie starts off with a soccer montage to let us know that she's very, very good at soccer. They also introduce us to her boyfriend.
I'm gonna wear that Carolina blue. Yeah, baby.
Now that I'm watching this movie, I didn't realize how bad the acting was. This is some really, really bad acting.
The school cut our team.
Wait, what?
Not enough girls signed up.
That seemed like a very dumb reason to cut a team.
Is there anything I can do? You just say the word.
As a matter of fact, there is. We want to try out for the boys' team.
And I feel like finding more girls to join the team would be better than trying to join the boys' team. But that's just my take on that. Seems like a more sensible decision.
What's going on, Coach?
Girls here. I want to try out for the team.
I'm not serious.
Okay, I see. This is where we're starting to establish who the villains of the show is.
It's a scientific fact. Girls can't be boys.
Did I mention the bad acting?
Are you lying?
Well, end of discussion.
Yeah, tell her, man.
This is some terrible acting.
End of relationship.
Oh!
This is where we get to meet her mother, who's obsessed with her being a debutante and absolutely does not care at all that she wants to do soccer. Kind of hinting that she's open to dating her now ex-boyfriend. And then she goes upstairs to meet her brother, who has landed a gig for his band in London for 2 weeks.
As in London, England?
Yeah, my band got a slot in a music festival there.
So he needs to disappear for 2 weeks and asks her to cover for him.
Sometimes I just think you just might as well be your brother.
She then comes up with this brilliant idea, or not so brilliant, to go to her brother's school, join that team, beat her current team, and that will show that girls are better than boys. And nowhere in this movie do they address why it's perfectly okay for her to be gone for 2 weeks. Who was checking up on her? Her school just let it slide, no one's checking. So she goes to the new school.
What's your name?
Let me tell you, I did not remember Channing Tatum was in this movie at all. Did not remember Channing Tatum was in this movie at all. When he gets to the new school, they decide to try out for the soccer team. This is a thing, it's not really trials, because every single one who tries out makes a team. The problem is, are you first team or second team? First team are people who play, and second teamer are the scout team who doesn't play but helps out in practice.
Shirts and skins.
Pardon me, sir. I have to be a shirt.
What?
I'm allergic to the sun.
So at no point did anyone question why someone who's deadly allergic to the sun is joining an outdoor soccer team. No one was this doesn't seem like a good idea. But alright, let's keep going.
Getting to know the opposite sex, are we?
We then get introduced to the principal.
Male-female dynamics, all that, sexual tension.
Did I mention that these are high school kids? Yes, high school kids. This is Olivia. Olivia is a character that both Channing Tatum's character Duke and a random nerd Malcolms are completely in love with. Both of them have been trying to get at her for close to 3 years at this point.
So those soccer tryouts were bogus. I mean, second string, come on, that's ridiculous. Am I right? Am I right?
At this point in the movie, Viola, who's playing Sebastian, is completely unpopular. So her friends from her old school come up with a plan to try and get her to be popular in the new school.
Bittersweet farewell. Yours plaything, baby. Yours plaything.
Call me anytime.
And then pretend like he had all the girls from his old school.
Sebastian?
Okay, who's this one then?
In the end, I wasn't woman enough for you.
The problem is that Sebastian's real girlfriend walks into the bar while they're doing their little skit to make Viola look more popular.
Girls with asses like mine do not talk to boys with faces like yours.
And then the obvious sensible decision is to break up with her as Sebastian, so she has to go through the emotional distress just to make sure that this plan goes through.
I see you for what you truly are, which is ugly. We're done.
A choice. Now Sebastian has become the popular kid in the school. Olivia, who's starting to have a little crush on Sebastian, gets partnered with him in a lab for science.
Lyrics, they're my old stuff.
At this point, Olivia finds some of the real Sebastian's music lyrics. She reads it and she instantly falls in love with Sebastian, or Viola at this point.
I write songs too, Olivia.
So right now we're at a point where Duke is in love with Olivia and Olivia is in love with Sebastian. But Duke sees this as an opportunity though. He sees that, oh, now that they're partnered in the lab, Sebastian can talk up Duke for him. So they come up with a strategy that Sebastian will help Duke get with Olivia, but in return, Duke would help Sebastian land on the first team.
Oh, right. Ow! Oh, for the love of God! It burns!
Though Olivia's in love with Sebastian, Sebastian somehow talks her into considering Duke.
Have you ever thought about going out with Duke Orsino? I see that.
So then Sebastian realizes she has to prep Duke to ask her out. And then this is where they start introducing the chemistry between Viola and Duke.
Flow is flow.
And obviously we have to have Convenient Spider to make them get closer to each other. And now everyone has to attend the carnival. Everyone, including Viola and Sebastian, even though she's still playing both of them. Viola has to run around juggling and switching office between being Viola and also being Sebastian, which causes a little scene. Both Viola and Olivia both have to attend the kissing booth.
This is just.
Which, aside from this whole thing, is very, very disturbing. May I mention these are high school kids. High school kids.
Beware the old guy chewing gum. It's not gum.
We'll skip beyond that point. Duke signs up for the kissing booth and hopes to get a kiss from Olivia.
And yet,
Thank God. Sweet.
I can't catch a break.
Olivia's creepy kissing booth session ends right before Duke gets his kiss, and Viola gets the sub in.
Do I know you? No.
So at this point, Viola and Duke end up kissing. Let me stop right there. In the movie, it is portrayed as something magical. It is not magical at all. It is extreme. This is probably one of the most awkward kisses I've ever seen. I don't know how they're portraying this magical moment, but after the kiss, they make it seem like Viola has fallen in love with Duke.
What the hell is this?
Back in line, buttball.
Viola's ex-boyfriend sees them kissing and he starts a fight with Duke. Viola, now dressed as Sebastian, starts to very creepishly sell herself to Duke as Sebastian.
You take her and then kiss her and then kiss the crap out of her.
This is very manipulative, very creepy.
You and Viola be magic.
But we'll keep going. I want to point out how hilarious this is. She just did the most minimal thing, and the coach was like, yeah, that's amazing. That is like the most minimal thing. Every single person watching this could do that. This whole movie is based on the premise that boys and girls are equals, but they make a lot of jokes about girls being weaker.
Yeah, coach.
Your first string for the Cornwall game.
That's the reason why he got the first team. That's the sole reason he got the first team. Right when Duke had decided he's gonna go after Viola, Olivia decides that she's gonna try and make Sebastian jealous by going out with Duke.
Make him jealous. Pretend to like somebody else. And then use him shamelessly.
Everyone not realizing what's going on, Viola gets mad at Olivia for trying to cock block her while she was setting herself up with Duke.
Olivia?
Olivia then sets up a double date.
I bet Eunice is available.
I'm so there, it's insane.
On the date, Olivia starts acting wild, like a little too wild, and that causes Viola to be jealous of Duke, not of Olivia. Viola just ends up storming off on the date. The next scene, Olivia, Viola as herself, and Sebastian's ex-girlfriend, Monique. All three are attending a debutante meeting together. Can I say something? If we remove the humor, Viola is a very terrible person. She's kind of a terrible person.
Oh, hi. Hi. What a small world.
That is very, very condescending.
You went out with that Duke Orsino guy, right? Ugh. Just try to postpone it as long as possible. He has this salivary gland condition. Yeah.
Olivia confesses her love for Sebastian to Viola, not realizing they're the same person.
I have this huge thing for his roommate, Sebastian.
Monique overhears their conversation, and that obviously starts another fight. Then this is where the real Sebastian decides that it's time for him to come back after his trip to London. When he gets on campus, Olivia, without his consent, just jumps on Sebastian and just makes out with him right there and there. Obviously, Duke catches this and he becomes infuriated. Like, he is pissed off.
Act opposite.
Okay, what are you talking about? That is not what happened!
No, you and your sister have a good life.
Duke lets Sebastian know how pissed off he is. Even though they were never a thing, never an item, Duke becomes possessive of a girl that never liked him at all. This is where the plan starts to come apart. Monique gets a voicemail from Sebastian from when he was in London, letting her know that she's coming back, and then she starts to piece the puzzle together, and then she joins up with the nerd Malcolm, who both want to see the demise of Sebastian. At this point, Sebastian, the real Sebastian, gets caught up in the whole mix, and he gets forced into the soccer game even though he has no soccer skills whatsoever. Thinking they've caught Viola and Sebastian, the principal thought that the best time to try to expose them is to stop a game mid-game with an announcer and scream to everyone that she's been pretending to be a guy this entire time in front of everyone.
That Sebastian Hastings is a girl.
Since it's the real Sebastian, it backfires when he shows his ding-dong. In the second half of the game, Viola catches Sebastian up with everything and they switch places.
Nothing going on between me and Olivia!
Still angry about a girl that never liked him to begin with, and he's still possessive over her, which still makes no sense to me. In an attempt to fix everything, Viola decides to come clean mid-game that she's a girl.
I'm not Sebastian.
And to let Duke know that she's not the one that kissed Olivia.
Doesn't prove you're a girl.
Okay, then.
This is supposed to be the hurrah moment, because after that, they end up having a great game, and she ends up having the game-winning goal on her ex-boyfriend. Duke is still upset about the whole Olivia thing, which still makes no sense to me. She never liked you. Why are you possessive over her?
Sebastian Hastings, Olivia Leonard.
Olivia ends up getting introduced to the real Sebastian, and that's setting up their own happily ever after, even though they barely don't know each other. Then there was a debutante meeting, and mid-debutante meeting, I think this is where Channing Tatum meets her in this beautiful garden, and then she confesses her love for him, and he says, it's okay. If you hadn't did what you did, I wouldn't have fallen in love with you. And that leads to the happily ever after for everyone in the movie. Watch it or not, this movie is still just as funny. It's still just as hilarious. If you like the Amanda Show or all that kind of humor, you'll love this. This is still so funny. But let's remove the humor. Every single character in this movie is a terrible person. Terrible person. Viola's supposed to be the hero of the show. She's mean, manipulative. She does a lot of things that would count as sexual misconduct. There's like at least 10 other things I could name in which Viola was technically a horrible person. And then there's Duke, who's possessive in like a very, very abusive way. Olivia doesn't understand the concept of consent. There are no good characters in this movie. They're all terrible people. It's like terrible people masked with humor. But I still love it though. I still love it. 2 thumbs up from me. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Do you guys like me doing movie breakdowns? Let me know. Don't forget to like, subscribe. We appreciate everyone who's been with us this journey. It's been a fun month so far. Join our little community. We appreciate everyone. Hope you have a good day. Deuces.